Welcome to the Temple of Zoom. I'm Drew Hayes. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an improviser. I'm an actor. I'm a radio host, a podcaster, just an overall performer who is stuck at home like all of you and looking for something to do and looking for creative outlets. So I'm talking to some of my friends that are also stuck at home, and they're also very funny, talented, artistic, creative people. And I started this podcast to have Zoom chats with people that might be in the same position as me, that have a need to be creative and no outlet when they're stuck at home. So I'm talking to people to find out what they're doing. Find out how stand-up comedians and artists and singers and actors are staying creative and still scratching that itch that they all have that makes them want to perform while they're stuck at home, sometimes with their families, sometimes by themselves, with friends. Just what are they doing? So Temple of Zoom chats with friends. They're very funny. Today we're going to start with my friend Mitch McBeaudry. He's actually, of all the people I know from the Niagara comedy scene, he's been the one that I've been in the most contact with since this all started, because he's been DMing my Dungeons and Dragons group. So yeah, you got from the name Temple of Zoom that this was going to be a thing, right? I mean, I'm a nerd. I get it. Okay, so that's one way he's staying creative, and it's been really helping him. We're going to get more to that in the chat. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a podcast host and interviewer himself. He's got a show that you can see on YouTube called Laughs from the Straight, and that is an interview show with other comedians. It's fantastic. So check that out if you're bored, which you are, right? I mean, you're here. So without further ado, I did want to clarify one thing. His video quality is not that great. That's on me. He said he could fix it, and I said, don't bother. This is going to be an audio podcast. And then I realized that Zoom records all the videos. So I was like, no, let's do this video-wise. So don't blame him for the crappy video quality on his end. Blame this guy right here. Again, I'm Drew Hayes. Welcome to the Temple of Zoom. I'm not going to bother doing like an intro or anything because I'll just record that separately. So we'll just get right into it.
Cool.
All right.
I love the name, by the way.
Yeah. I was talking about how everybody does Zoom chats for whatever work they're doing. I'm listening to lots of podcasts and they're all doing it via Zoom. And I was like, there's just so many puns with Zoom. They're like, I thought Temple of Zoom worked the best for this, but like there's Legion of Zoom. Like there's so many like different ones I could have used to make it my nice like nerdy style. But land on Temple of Zoom, and I also love it. So Mitch, what have you been up to?
Oh, just staying inside and being terrified of strangers.
Yeah, but since the quarantine.
Oh, raising two kids. That's really been the focus.
Yeah, same. And of course our weekly D&D nights. That's important.
Every Sunday.
Yeah, that's actually that's keeping me sane right now.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah. Oh, I know for sure. But it's like. It's almost like leaving the house in a sense. Like it's in my imagination. I'm playing a character that is out in the wild and talking to people and talking to, elves.
It didn't occur to me. I had you guys going to a tavern. And you guys really didn't want to leave. And it took me a minute to figure out like, oh, right. They haven't been to a bar. And
yeah. I think I was the first one to be like, well, I want to keep this story going. And at the end of that fight, they offered us a night to sleep here. So I'm going to go to sleep because I'm assuming Mitch has more planned. And they're like, we're going to drink ale all night. And we're going to talk to this character that's sitting over here. And like, I saw you post about it. I believe it was this character was when you put in a character that means nothing and then the party spends way too long with this guy.
And you got to come up with like a name and everything for him all of a sudden.
Yeah. And we're asking other people in the bar about this guy and getting the same information from other people. It's like, I think that's the extent of the information that Mitch wrote about this guy. Yeah. Have you done a lot of DMing or?
I've been DMing for the most part for about 3 years. No, longer than that now. 5 years now. But it's been mostly with the same group.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've really gone out of that original group and started with 6 fresh players now who never played together before, which is awesome.
Like other than Zach, who's a fellow comedian with you and I haven't met any of the other people.
You never met Tyler?
No, I think he's also a comedian, correct?
He is a comedian, yeah.
I think like he must have come around kind of after we had the baby.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, he's only been in about a year or so.
Yeah, so. I've only been out twice, maybe 3 times since we had another kid. So like, hopefully when this is all over, I can get out there and start doing shows again. Cause like I see lineups at Showtime, which is the local St. Catharines Comedy Club. For those who don't know that, it's a great club. I see lineups there, like amateur nights, and I have no idea who anybody is.
I'm kind of the same, to be honest. There's a lot of new people getting into it, which is awesome. Like before this whole Corona thing hit, like comedy was booming, and
it was.
One thing was the club was doing awesome on amateur nights, like in terms of the amount of people coming out. We were getting more people coming out. We were getting regular customers coming out, and we were getting new comedians who were doing well. Like every once in a while you'd get, we had this one jackass, but I won't go into it. But every once in a while you get new people go up who don't understand you're supposed to write a set list.
Yeah.
Or don't understand the craft. They just think that you go up there and talk, and that's fine. But for the most part, the new people coming up were like ready to go. Like it's the strongest group of new people I've ever seen.
I went out to one of the top comics, not this year, but last year. And I wasn't in it because I had just had a baby at that point. There was people that I had never seen before that went on stage and performed like they'd been doing it for years. And I knew, I was a large part of the scene for a long time before that. So if they had been around for a while, I would have known about them. So I knew they were green, but they didn't sound green. That's like one of the best parts about Niagara, I think, is that there is all this hidden talent here. And the more we go out and do shows and put on shows, the more those guys get out and really put the city on the map for comedy, right? Like it's crazy how many talented people come from Niagara.
Oh yeah, we're definitely we're a growing comedy scene, but we're definitely being recognized as one of the stronger comedy scenes.
Yeah.
Already, which is great.
Especially when you think 10 years ago, there was Niagara comics.
Yeah. It wasn't a scene, it was a clique.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same 5 people at every single show.
Yeah.
And but to their credit, those 5 people are pretty much all still going.
That's true. That is that's a real testament to their dream and their desire to do it, because to do it that long is definitely like Zach, the comic we just talked about. He's been doing it for 7 years. Yeah,
he started a little bit before I did. I've been either 5 or 6 years. I can never remember the exact year I started, but it's either 5 or 6.
I'm at 4 now.
4? Yeah. And Zach was at when I first started, I think Zach was on every single show I did, because they were still pretty green to the area. I was pretty new to the area, the comedy scene. So even then there was only,
so many
20 comics maybe. And Zach and I were out there at every show we could get. So we ended up performing a lot together. Yeah.
That's one of the things I wonder about, when comedy comes back, when we're all allowed to leave the house again, how many shows there will be in the beginning, and just that initial wave of fighting for spots. And it's going to be interesting because everyone's going to be bad. We're all going to be rusty.
Yeah.
We're all going to be out of practice. So
for sure.
We're going to be trying to get as many spots as possible just to get back in a groove. Because if I go up now and try to talk about my dick, I know it's not going to be polished. It's just
your dick's not going to be polished.
Yeah, I'm not going to be prepped at all. I'm not going to do my pre-fluff game. I'm going to be completely out of it.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing too that worries me for the comedy clubs out there is that they're we're essentially going to be coming back to half sold out shows for a while. Because even when they're allowed to open up again, there's still going to be some sort of distancing in effect. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a while before people start filling bars again.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
that's for sure.
For an industry that works on filling rooms, not only are the bars going to be struggling to make ends meet with only half crowds most of the time or no crowds, the comedians themselves are going to be struggling too, because as you and I both know, an empty room is hard to perform to.
Oh yes.
The closer the crowds are together, the better it is. If they're all sitting 6 feet apart, we can't go, bring it in, guys. Come on, sit in the front row. It's like, no, they're distancing.
We got masks. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't touch anyone, but come together.
It's
true. It's going to be a weird. I think about movie theaters a lot like that too. Like,
I think about movie theaters a lot just because I miss movie theaters a lot.
Oh, see, kids for that ruined movie theaters for me. Once I had my first kid, it just, we see one movie a year now.
You know what? I used to go to movies by myself a lot.
Same.
Single, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I saw at least a movie a week for years throughout my 20s. And then as soon as I had kids, it was like, I still get to see the Marvel movies because my son's into them. And I go see the Star Wars movies usually by myself or with a friend of mine from Toronto, just because Allie has no interest in Star Wars. And Mac's not totally into Star Wars as much as he is Marvel.
The Marvel stuff?
Yeah, but I'm glad I still get to see all the Marvel movies, which is like a big deal for me. But like random comedies or dramatic movies or Oscar potential stuff like that I used to always see, I can't see it till it's out of theaters.
Yeah, I used to. Well, I went to film school. That's what I originally went to school.
So did I.
So I used to go to all the time to movies, and I would try to see as many independent movies as I could, and try to, like, every time. I used to live in Toronto, so every time TIFF was in town, I would go to like 5 screenings at TIFF. And now it's like I see whenever there's a Harry Potter thing, because my wife drags me to it.
Oh, see, those are. I'm just as excited for those things.
You know what it is? I love the books.
Yeah.
The movies have never really done it for me, except the third one. The third movie, I was like, yeah.
Which, of course, is the one that's made by the filmmaker of the bunch, right?
Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah. I don't dislike the new like Fantastic Beasts ones, but I'll say, for one thing, I hate Johnny Depp, and I hate that he's in them.
Why do you hate Johnny Depp?
You know what? Like, I like old Johnny Depp. Like, I like old Johnny Depp movies and roles. I just don't, for the last 10 years, it's just been so much of the same thing. And I'm really sick of that. Also, like, he's got kind of a bad reputation, and I don't understand why he hasn't been, like, Me Too'd yet, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? Like, I
think that's because that's a he says, she says thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like a group of women coming out and saying Johnny Depp's
one
a piece
woman.
Of shit. It's his wife, and he's saying she's a piece of shit. So it's hard to pick sides.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I only like those Fantastic Beasts movies just because I consider Harry Potter in my top 3 favorite franchises, whether it's books, games, movies, whatever. And I think just more Harry Potter content, I'm always going to be all right with.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But like, yeah, for me, it's Harry Potter, Marvel, and then probably Star Wars. And even Star Wars, I have such a love-hate relationship with, because like the thing I say about Star Wars is like, fans who love Star Wars love all of it. But really, if you look at all of the movies ever made, there's like a 1 in 3 good to bad rate for those movies.
It's low. It's very low. Are you a fan of Last Jedi, or did you hate Last Jedi? I find that you either love it or hate it.
Is Last Jedi the middle one or the third?
Yes, the middle one.
I didn't like it. I did not like that one.
I'm in the same boat.
I loved Rise of Skywalker.
Same.
And I think that was the whole thing with those movies, is that it kind of split the fans, where if you loved Rise of Skywalker, you hated Last Jedi, and if you loved Last Jedi, you hated Rise of Skywalker. And like, I noticed the things in Rise of Skywalker, like the edits and stuff because they were cutting in a character with old footage from a deceased actress. Like, I noticed those things, but they didn't totally take, like, I think they did a good enough job of that to not fully take me out of it.
Oh, my wife and I were fooled by it.
Yeah.
We didn't notice it. We were like, I was like, oh, I guess they shot enough. The only time I knew it wasn't her was when she, spoiler alert, when she dies.
Yeah, you could
because
tell.
it was silhouetted. And I was like, okay, well, clearly that's an actress or an actor, laying down or whatever.
I might be wrong, but I think it was her daughter.
Well, her daughter's in the movie, so it makes sense
Yeah.
to just grab her and be like, here, you put this on, put on a fat suit and get it.
Yeah.
not to
say she was, but she was like a woman, and her daughter's like really young, right? Her daughter's
it would be the equivalent.
20s.
Like her daughter could play her, like if they were doing, what was that movie where she was in it? Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like her daughter could have been a double for her in Rogue One.
For the young her.
For the young her.
Yeah.
She looks like young her.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the digital head being too big.
How do you feel about those in Rogue One, those deceased actors that they put in?
Man, if I'm Peter Cushing's relative, if I'm like his grandson or something, I'd be a little peeved. I'd be a little like, hey man, like, one, you better be paying us a lot of money.
Yeah, for his likeness, right?
For his likeness, you better be paying up. But two, it's like you're putting words in his mouth. Yep. And even though, yes, it's a character, it's not like they're saying Peter Cushing said this or anything like that. But it's still, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of them putting dead people to play roles. It just bugs me. Yeah, and you know what? That one took me so out of it because he looked like a cartoon character standing among real people. Like, it wasn't great. And like, I don't see, like, the audience isn't so unforgiving that they're gonna pick out a new actor and go, that's not him. Like, there are you find a lookalike. You find even someone who doesn't fully look like it. Just find someone to play the part. That's not that hard. Like, well, movies used to do that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like Back to the Future.
Yeah. Before this was a thing, they would just change the actress. Yeah. Like so many like famous movies have done that, and no one's cared. No one cares. Back to Harry Potter. There's 2 Dumbledores.
That's because one died. And...
Well, so was this.
Yeah, that's true. You got me on that.
Yeah.
But like Maggie Gyllenhaal replacing Katie Holmes.
Yeah, exactly. In Dark Knight, and then like there was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There was 2 ants.
There were 2 ants.
And that one wasn't even a death. That was just a firing.
Oh, really? Is that all it was?
Yeah, she didn't get along with Will, and he snapped his Will Smith fingers and got rid of her.
Jeez.
Yeah.
For a guy who was just taking the role for IRS at the time, he had a lot of power early on.
Yeah, yeah. There was something else I wanted to say about. This was when we were talking about comedy clubs and like the comedy scene and stuff being affected by this. I keep thinking there's got to be someone. There's got to be multiple people out there that were like, in January of this year, they're like, I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. I'm quitting my day job. I'm moving to LA. I'm moving to New York. I'm doing comedy full time. Now's the time. And then they get there, and this starts.
I talked to a lady who did that, not in comedy, but in her job. She quit her job to become a teacher. Mm-hmm. Then the strikes happened, and then this happened.
Yeah.
So like there are people who've got boned doing this. Comedy wise, like the funny thing is, I started getting more paid gigs. Yeah. And now I feel like I'm gonna have to start over again and be like, oh shit. And now there's more competition to get back to that spot. Yeah.
For me, I started getting more paid gigs, and then I entered into a serious relationship with a young mother.
Well, that would do it.
And that took a lot of my time, and then I kind of stopped doing comedy almost completely when we had a baby of our own. And I was like right at that peak of getting lots of paid gigs too when I really cut back on comedy. Yeah. Yeah. And I want to get back into it. And luckily my partner's she's also a comedian. And
I've never seen her perform.
You know what? She does it even less than I do. But she's very funny. She's amazing. And we both agreed that when this COVID thing is over, we're going to start trying to get out there more. Cause now the baby's old enough that we can leave her with grandparents and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
That makes a difference. Like, I was going to be on a hiatus anyway because of my newborn.
Yeah. You have like a brand new baby at home.
Yeah. Right? Born March 17th. So born during the quarantine or the isolation.
Yeah.
but it's so I knew I was going to scale back. I wasn't expecting to stop necessarily, but scale back was definitely part of it.
It's something that happened to a lot of us. A lot of people affected, like even like me. I went back to school last year, like back to college.
Right.
I was working in radio, and I was kind of getting sick of the industry. The broadcasting in general is not a fun industry to be in right now because it's on such a decline.
Right.
And it's so competitive, and you have to be able to like pack up and move to take jobs when you get them, and you could lose that job within 6 months and have to do it again. And now that I have a family, it's not really in the cards for me anymore.
Right.
No, I need something with more stability. So I went back to college and took a 1-year program in public relations. I had an awesome internship lined up, and then they canceled all our internships. We did the rest of the semester online, and now we lost the potential reference from our internships, the fact that you could put it on a resume.
Yeah.
And now, like, I feel like the entire industry, like 75% of them might be out of a job. So even not only are we going to be competing against all the other students in public relations that graduated from other schools with us, we're going to be competing against people that lost their jobs during all this to pick up jobs.
The advantage you'll have, and it sucks to say this, but the advantage you'll have as a new person is you'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
You'll be coming in cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and that companies starting back up again they're going to be, I think that's going to be the big advantage for new people just out of school.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
It does.
I think about the people who are veterans, like it sucks. Like there's going to be a lot of job loss and job turnover for sure. Like this, well, it's so tough to think about.
Luckily, for people like me that are trying to break into public relations stuff, is like, that's one industry where a lot of people have had to keep their PR people on because they're the ones that are running social media and talking to it's an easy job to do from home. And it's an important job during something like this to run like crisis control and stuff and to run social media. But for students just coming out of school, like no one's hiring them right now. They're asking for people to volunteer and stuff, but no one's hiring communications people in the middle of all this because their communications teams are busy.
Yeah. It's too important of a time to screw up. Like, exactly. You got to make sure it's a veteran that's true. You got to make sure it's someone who's getting your company's message across. Like, hey, we, although how hard is it to put out a tweet that says, we appreciate first responders, and then put out some ad where you find stock footage of a kid coughing, and then you like all these ads seem to be the same right now. It's driving me nuts. Every commercial.
I believe my social media teacher, who runs social media for Shaw Festival, would beg to differ with you on that.
Well, yeah, professional.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a layman. From a layman's point of view. Yeah, professional, absolutely. Keep in mind, I'm also terrible at social media. It's not like I say, it's easy, but I have no idea. If someone put me in charge of my company's social media stuff, I'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah. Have you been doing anything creative or comedy related at all on the break? Have you been?
I did one thing for Jim Ordowich, Jimmy England. He did an online show, and I did a thing for that. And then I did something else for mainly Niagara. They did a stream, and I did a short video. The problem is we're recording this. It's 10:15 right now.
Yeah.
Because we both have kids that
pretty much the only time we're available. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff happens at like 7 or 8. So I have to say no to things, which is weird for me to do, to be like, oh, I have nothing going on, but I still can't do it.
Yeah.
But it's so not a lot. How about you?
Allie, my partner, actually did one of those shows the other day.
Oh, yeah.
She did Lacey's show that's usually out of Dunnville.
The Hops and Brews, or
but like I have I've had opportunities to do that stuff. I've just been hesitant to do it because it seems so awkward to me to do a stand-up set to my phone or to my computer. You know what I mean?
It is. It was awkward for me to do the thing for Jimmy because that's what I did. Is I pulled up all my old material I don't do
Yeah.
because it was going online, and then I'm doing it. So I'm doing material I know is not as good as material I could do, but also with no reaction. But then I think about how many times have we done bar shows to 4 people?
Yeah.
You're not getting a reaction.
You know
At
what
least,
though? This it's like right now, like I released a special a couple years ago of like 40 minutes of comedy. So I try not to do any of that material anymore because I already know it works. I've used it for years. It once it's on the internet in the ether, I don't really like to do it as much. I'll throw one in for like a closer or something occasionally, but like almost everything I'm doing right now is new material. And if it's just being recorded and sent out, like I have no gauge of what's working or not.
yeah,
So
you don't want to burn the material.
Yeah,
you don't want someone to see you and be like, "Oh, I've seen this joke. This is what
exactly. I have been trying to do writing and stuff. Like I'm working on a novel that I've been working on for the past year or so. So I've been putting some work into that. Allie has been doing lots of like TikTok and sketch stuff that she's writing, but I don't know how to do that. And like I thought about it, like I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a TikTok and do TikTok. And then I found out that TikTok is pretty much just people doing each other's sketches in different ways.
Yes.
Like it's almost like a meme, like a meme template that people are doing, but it's a video instead of a picture. And it's just, this is the meme template and you do this in the video and then you share it and people like it or they don't. And to me, it's like, no, I want something where I can just go on and do original jokes and original video stuff. So I've been getting really into Instagram story.
I was going to say, because Instagram gives you, what, 15 seconds or something like that?
It's like 45 to a minute now, I think.
Oh, okay.
It used to, when they first added that, it was kind of like Vine, where it's real short. But it's much longer now. And that's what I've been using for jokes. Like I just either just like straight up tell a joke into my camera, or I'll I walk my dog every day and I'll come up with funny little observations.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah. So that's like what I do basically for comedy right now. And then I'm writing new material, but I've got nothing to do with it.
My problem with new material is I think of something that seems very relevant right now, and I'm like, this won't be relevant by the time I get on a stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm like, you know how you have your Uber contactless driver for your food, and how he rings the doorbell even though you have a sign that says "Don't fucking ring the doorbell, dog and a baby."
Yeah.
It's like that's not. No one's gonna give a shit about this, and
no,
by the time they're not gonna want to hear it.
Yeah, everyone's going to be so sick of COVID jokes because, like, I think of them, and then I'm like, this has been said by someone on Twitter somewhere.
Yeah.
And then someone took a screenshot of that Twitter thing and put it on Facebook. And it's like, because that's what people do. They take screenshots of tweets and they put them on Facebook. Yeah. That's how we share comedy these days. And it's like, I don't want to hear any more COVID jokes. I don't think anybody wants to hear any more COVID jokes. So
I'm already sick of Trump disinfection jokes.
Yeah, same.
Like that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that was yesterday?
I know.
It feels like it was 2 weeks ago.
24-hour news cycle, man. It's like people stop talking about things immediately. Like in the morning, it was Trump said something about people injecting disinfection, and it's like disinfectant. And you watch the video, and you're like, "Oh shit, he did! What a stupid person." And then by afternoon, the news story had changed to he's claiming he was sarcastic. And then it's like, you listen to that, there was no tone of sarcasm or joking in his voice anywhere.
First off, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. It's not the time to be sarcastic.
Yeah.
If you're a world leader trying to do a press briefing.
Yeah.
Like, even if he was, let's give him benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. He was sarcastic. Well, then he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Because now it's not the time for your comedy. We need stand-up.
No,
not
from him. No.
Yeah. Not from a world leader.
I tweeted yesterday. What I tweeted yesterday was sometimes when I say something stupid, I pretend I was kidding too. The only difference is I'm not putting thousands of idiots' lives in danger when I do it.
Like, could you imagine if like we could talk about like, man, remember when George W. had a tight five?
Yeah.
Remember? Oh, yeah. Oh, it wasn't it during Katrina? It was during Katrina, but it was tight.
Yeah, it was a little like it was he was kind of like those too soon jokes. So you got to be a certain kind of comedy to really get it. Like when the president's out there making jokes about Katrina during the cleanup, like a little too soon, but like he was brave.
Yeah, exactly. He goes to the White House press dinner and just starts rifling off Katrina jokes. Like we would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with it? Trump makes me feel so bad for Bush.
Yeah.
Because Bush spent 8 long years becoming the worst president in history.
Yeah.
He put his fucking effort in to be known as the worst. And in 2 terms, he's replaced by a guy in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to me how much his legacy is now like, wow, I'd rather have Bush as president. Like that's how bad things have gotten.
Yeah.
We forget how bad Bush was.
It was funny how quickly the turnaround was too, where like within the first 2 months of his presidency, like people were like political experts and stuff were like, he's going to go down as the worst president in history, like already. Like,
oh, Trump?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what though? I think it's time for a funny president. I really do.
I think we're in that time. I think we have a hilarious president of the United States. We just it's funny in the darkest way. It's like Fargo funny.
Yeah. You know, we had I keep saying we, but we're Canadian.
Yeah,
we as the world had I feel like I bet Obama's funny.
Obama's funny.
I bet like he couldn't do it when he was doing presidential speeches, like he knew the time and place. But I bet if you go out for a beer with Obama,
it's a good time.
He's funny for sure.
Yeah. There's that great picture of Obama and Anthony Bourdain having a beer.
Yeah.
Now I always wonder, like, what were they talking about? Like, I bet that was a funny conversation between those two.
I always thought it was funny that, like, Obama started the presidency with, like, jet black hair, and within the first, like, 3 months, he went gray.
Oh, yeah. That like, job ages you.
Yeah. And, like, Trump went in looking 100, so.
Yeah, he's not looking great. He's not looking too hot. But, you know, you got to give Trump credit because he I don't know what you got to give him credit for, but there's probably something. There's got to be some. He puts shoes on the right feet, you know.
Does he though? Like I feel like he gets it corrected. We just don't see his feet enough.
It would be awesome if like there's one press conference where someone captures that and they're like, "Holy fuck, he's not even wearing his shoes on the right feet."
Well, didn't Bush get caught with the lens caps on his binoculars or something like that?
He did.
At one point?
Yes. My favorite Bushism was before 9/11 because it was still funny back then.
Yeah.
When he does the like, we're gonna get him. We gotta take care of this, and this is really important. And he's on a golf course.
Yeah.
He's like, now watch this drive.
So let's go back to D&D for a bit because I do want to talk more about that.
That's actually how I'm getting my creative outlet out.
Yeah, because last week you wrote an original part of the campaign for us.
Mm-hmm.
Which
this week too.
This week as well.
Yep.
Which last week was one of the more fun times I had, even though like we got stuck in a bar for a long time, which wasn't intentional for you, I don't think. But like, you didn't record last week's session, right?
No, I didn't.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
I can't. Are you planning on doing anything with the other recordings of the old sessions?
Just like I put out that one clip of me fucking up the word incorporeal.
Yeah. That was so funny. Incorporeal, he was like a ghost.
But I don't plan to release the whole thing. Although Zach says he's streaming it. He's going to be streaming we talked about it in the group chat. He wants to stream the episodes, and then he said he could provide me a recording. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything planned for. The thing too is like who would really want to watch a full 45-minute gameplay, or not even 45, it's like 3 hours for us. Who would want to watch a whole 3 hour of people they don't know, or even if they do know us, like you get sick of us at a certain point. Because
there's like podcasts and stuff that do that, but it's like of course I want to watch Patton Oswalt play D&D. That would be great. But
or
like
Brian Posehn.
Exactly. Brian Posehn hosts the one. But I don't think there's much there for us.
No, that's why I'm shocked Zach wants to stream it. But I'm like, hey man, all the power to you. If you want to do it, if someone wants to watch it.
Yeah. Well, he's got a
Great.
relatively new stream, and he's building up a fan base, so I understand why he wants to get as much content out there as possible.
Yeah.
I'll probably have Zach on at some point too to
Nice.
talk quarantine and comedy and creativeness and all this. So last time we played, we got stuck in a bar, and then we came to a puzzle that you had planned for us.
Yes.
Which,
my favorite puzzle.
Oh, how long do you think? I feel like we were there for an hour.
You were there for about an hour. It was 45 minutes. Yeah.
Trying to figure this thing out. And it was basically 4 words on a tablet, and we had to figure out how to, like, what this thing wanted from us. And
It told you it wanted an action.
Yeah.
It gave descriptions of symbols for each word.
Yep.
And the symbols were the clue. But it also, the thing that tripped you guys up was it gave definitions.
Yes.
And the definition was throwaway stuff. It didn't matter, the definitions.
Yeah.
But
so we're like, oh, well, this one means strength. We got to do something strong in front of it. So one of our party members starts flexing in front of this thing. And when he puts his arms above his head to flex, Mitch is like, something's happening. I'm like, wait, he put his arms in the air. This is close. We're there. We're like, okay. And then it dawned on us that he had his arms up in the air in a Y formation, and Mitch was waiting for us to do the YMCA dance.
That was all it was. The words were Yoth, Mural, Croft, and Alfard.
Yes. And
yeah.
So we did the YMCA, and we hated Mitch for the rest of the evening.
Oh, I loved it. I woke up singing Macho Man. I was like, I was loving it. I was just so happy with myself.
Yeah. He's promised us there's no puzzles like that for our game on Sunday. Tomorrow night, as of now, it's Saturday night. By the time this goes up, it'll probably be tomorrow. So tonight.
No puzzles this time.
Yeah. But lots of fights.
I have a prediction. Yeah, I feel like someone's gonna die this tomorrow night.
All right.
I have a prediction.
Like,
and I know who it is.
Zach?
Probably.
Zach's character died the first 3 fights we got in.
Well, got unconscious.
Yeah,
I think someone might
unconscious.
die.
Yeah.
I think someone might actually completely die.
So
I'm throwing something cool in front of you. So
if one of us dies, are you letting us just re-roll and join the party as a new person?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to kick you out of the party just
No,
because.
but will we be coming back as level 1, or will we be...
No, you would be party level. No, I'm not that much of a dick, because the whole point of this campaign we're doing is to get you guys to level 11 eventually.
Yeah.
So I would hate for you guys to die at level 7 and be like, all right, well, you're all level 7. Here's Jim Bob. He's level 1. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, we've leveled up every campaign because you're doing it by... not by experience, but
by milestone. Well, also because we're going to be doing Storm King's Thunder, which is a really cool campaign, and I've always wanted to run it. So we're going to be doing that, but you got to be level 5 basically to start it, or level 1, and you guys were level 3 when I thought about it. So I was like, well, I can push you up to 5, or I can make you guys do the level 1 stuff. And I was like, no, let's get you to 5. Let's get you to where it's fun, because the level 5 stuff is really cool.
I'm playing a barbarian, and at level 5, I get 2 attacks on every turn.
Yes, you do.
So I will start doing some serious damage.
Yeah, level 5 is where everyone gets to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stoked.
You know what, though? It might end up being me that gets killed, because I'm usually the one that is at the front of the pack taking all the damage.
That's true.
So depending on what, if it's something like, oh, this guy hits really hard, then I might be okay because I've got more health and I'm harder to hit than everybody else in the party. But if it's like a curse or something, and the first person to walk in the room automatically dies, then it will be me.
No, it's not. I'm not one of those jerks. Although I did kill a longtime party member in my other party. With a gelatinous cube. But he was level 5. You're supposed to be level 1 to die to gelatinous cube, and he was a barbarian too, and he couldn't break out of it.
Was it the guy from Onward? Were you playing with a fictional character from a Pixar movie?
No, when I saw Onward and the gelatinous cube showed up, I was super
he talks
excited
about it the whole time and how bad the gelatinous cube is, and then one shows up at the end.
Yeah.
That movie's got some great D&D references.
Oh, Wizards actually worked on it with them.
Oh,
They
really?
actually had Wizards of the Coast involved with
Oh,
it
that's awesome.
because they wanted the D&D.
So not real wizards. They have real wizards working on it.
You know what? At Pixar, it wouldn't surprise me. That
We
seems
brought
like
in
the type of
actual
place.
wizards for this movie.
Yeah, we brought in some warlocks.
This guy's a barbarian, which in this day just means he's kind of rude and he's tall.
You know, it's weird we make fun of this, but I've been to 2 Wiccan weddings. I've been to 2 witch weddings.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. You got to pray to the gods of the northeast, south, and west. You got to drink from a chalice that they pass around and filled with wine, and they tie their hands together and they do like this little dance and then jump over a broom. And then when they get divorced, they have to do it backwards. It's both of them have been divorced, I think.
I want to get more into this just because this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And don't have to share information that's sensitive, but like
Well,
are these friends? Are these close friends?
No, they were friends of a girl I was dating at the time. She was a goth. She was really into the goth scene. So there's a Wiccan church in Toronto, which is where I was living at the time. So the one wedding was at the church. And when I say church, it's like it's not a church. It's like a office building where the second floor happens to be a Wiccan group meeting area. It looks like the same place they would have AA meetings. Like it could be multi-purpose.
Yeah.
And they the first one was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like I looked at it as a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm like, how many Wiccan weddings do you get to go to?
Yeah, really.
And then the next one was like the next summer. And this one was going to be in the woods. We went camping in the woods, and it was like the whole, like, we're all in a circle around this couple, and the gods of the sun and the wind and all this they're surrounding us, and they do the whole thing. And then they had an open bar, but they only had mead. Which have you ever had mead?
No.
Well,
sucks. Except for last Sunday night, I had some mead.
Yes. You had some imaginary mead. Actual mead sucks. It is not good. It's honey wine, right? So I didn't
know that.
It's too sweet. Yeah, mead is like a honey wine, so it's too sweet to get too drunk on, because you'll puke.
Yeah, of course.
So it was just like the weirdest time. And the thing that threw me off the most was the day after their wedding, the dude went fishing with his best man instead of spending the day with his wife, which I thought was like a weird thing to do right away. Like to start the relationship that way. But yeah, I've been to two witch weddings, and I'd go to a third. I honestly
food at a witch wedding.
Oh yeah. We had boar's meat or something. I can't remember. So they went all. It was like getting married at a medieval times.
Yeah.
Which I've also been to.
I went to medieval times. Allie and I went to medieval times right before this whole thing started.
No, I mean a medieval times wedding.
Medieval. You've been to one of those too?
I used to work at medieval times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there was a wedding there, and I got to be like a guy holding a flag for them. So I'm in their wedding pictures, just standing there with my medieval times tights on and shit.
Allie and I went in February for her birthday, and it was like.
Nice.
It was literally the week, like the week before things got serious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and to be honest, the show was great. The food and the service was one of the worst experiences.
Welcome to medieval times.
Yeah, for real. Like I knew the food was bad because I went a couple years ago and I remembered the food being bad. But we got the worst server. Is it appropriate to call her a wench in this situation?
It is, actually. So Steph, whom you know from the game, she used to be a wench at medieval times.
Oh, okay.
She's still married to a knight. And her husband's a knight there, and she has wench tattooed on her. Like it's not a shameful thing there to be called a wench.
Yeah. But we were like looking around at the other groups, and they were 3 full courses ahead of us.
Oh man, you must have had someone new or something.
Yeah, and Allie was at the very last seat at the table, and she always started at the end. And every single time she came down the aisle, she had one too few things. So she'd get to Allie, and she'd be out again. So like, I was passing my stuff to her because like she's more likely to make a scene if she's upset with service than I am. So
Right.
I'm like, here, just eat my potato. I will watch the show and wait for her to bring the potato back when she brings everybody else chicken. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah. What did you
So
do at Medieval Times?
I was going to say you've never heard my Medieval Times bit. Then I'll
I don't
tell you
think I have.
I'll tell you the story that the
Yeah.
bit's based on.
Yeah, please.
So did they have the guy there when you got to Medieval Times? You get your crown, right? And then
Yeah.
they usher you into a room. Did they take your picture?
Yes.
And then during the show, did they try to sell you your picture to you?
We got the picture for free because
Oh,
it
you
was
had
her
the
birthday
package?
and I bought the celebration
You
package.
bought the celebration package? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you didn't buy it ahead of time, they would have come up to you during the show and been
Yeah.
like, hey, here's a picture of yourself. You want to buy it for $20 in the age of the iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
That was my job. That's
Okay.
what I used to do there.
Yeah.
So I worked at Medieval Times for about 6 months and over a summer, and well, summer, spring to fall.
The long ass summer.
It's like it was like a Game of Thrones summer lasted 6 years, and so what happened was I was working with this really nice girl in my department. I won't give her actual name. I'll give the name I say when I do the bit. Her name was Sarah. Her name wasn't actually Sarah, but that's the name I give. And Sarah and I became really close friends. Like we would go see movies together. We would go to dinners together. I would go to hang out at her apartment. She would hang out at my apartment. And you may be wondering why I didn't say I was dating her. It's because she was actually engaged to the Falconer. So one day I'm getting kicked out of my apartment. I got to move, and she offers me to sleep on her couch for a couple of months. So I'm like, that'd be great, whatever. Well, the knights are friends with this falconer, and the knights get all like huffy about it. So underneath the castle is the stables, underneath the stage, and there's a board there that tells you who's going to win which match. And you, by the way, Medieval Times is fake. And you'd be amazed the amount of people who come up to me after I tell this bit and they're like, wait, is it really fake? Or I thought it had to do with how loud you cheered. I'm like, yeah, they're really listening for that. But they had the board up, and I'm looking at it because it was a matinee show. So we would sell pictures to kids of the knights. And if you knew which knight was going to win, you would printed more pictures of that night because people were going to buy the winning. People buy the winning knights; they don't buy their losing knights. Yeah. Picture. So I'm looking at this board and I feel a presence behind me. Now my uniform at Medieval Times was a blue tunic and tights. Like that was it. So I'm wearing this, and I turn around, and there's the head knight and the horse master, and they're standing there. And they're like mean, and they're in costume, and they're mean mugging me. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, we hear you're getting really close with Sarah. I go, yeah, it's not what you think. We're just friends. And they go, well, good. Oh, and by the way, these guys were terrifying looking. The head knight especially is all muscles. He's a head taller than me, and he's missing an eye. Okay, this guy loved Medieval Times so much he lost an eye while working.
Yeah, really? Like, did he lose it at Medieval Times?
Yeah, he was a bartender at the time too, which is what's really fucked up about it. No, I'm kidding. He didn't lose it at Medieval Times. He was missing, and he actually did modeling for what are those novels, those romance novels called?
The Greys, the 50 Shades of Grey or something like that?
No. It was sort of like those smut novels for ladies.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like the ones with the crazy cover. Yes.
Yeah, he actually modeled for that stuff. Like that's the kind of guy, all muscles and stuff.
Yeah.
So he actually says to me, he's like, so we hear you're fooling around with Sarah. And I'm like, no, we're just friends. And he's like, good, because if I find out you laid even one finger on her, I'm going to tie you to the back of this horse and drag you around the arena. Do you understand? And I'm like, I understand. I need a new pair of tights. Yeah, I fucking understand. Yeah. It was good. Keep in mind, I'm always watching.
with one.
So then the horse master starts laughing. I start laughing. They're like, no, we're fucking serious. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
That wasn't a bit?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit. So I got threatened by the head knight and the horse master at Medieval Times for hanging out with the falconer's fiance.
Horsemaster, by the way. If that's not my new nickname, I don't. I'm gonna start
Yeah, right.
Everyone call me the Horsemaster.
The Horsemaster and the falconer behind the.
That could have been the Harlequin or the novel he was modeling for. The Horsemaster and the falconer. Hold on for
Either
just
of
1
them work
minute.
there.
Hold on for just 1 minute. I've got a chatty baby behind me.
Oh, go ahead.
It's one of those things with her where she's at that stage where she doesn't always nap during the day. And it's like hard to get her to nap, and like it's like a lose-lose situation. Like we get her to nap during the day and she stays up later at night. If we don't get her to nap during the day, then she goes to bed earlier, but then she's up earlier the next morning.
Our 2.5-year-old, we're at that point right now with her, and it's the good news is if we actually have the opposite. If we get her to nap, she goes to bed earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have the opposite effect. Like she napped today from 2 to 5 and then was in bed by 8:30.
Yeah, that's around like Aurora used to nap like when during school. She would always be napping when Matt got home from school. So she would start napping around 3 o'clock and sleep till 4:30 or so. And now like I took her for a 45-minute walk in the stroller today just to get her to go to sleep and it was like at this point it was 4 o'clock. So if she naps at 4, she sleeps till after dinner, like till 5:30 or 6, and then she's up late. So she's still awake in the other room, but like she's at this time of night, we can just give her a bubba and put something on the TV, like something colorful and filled with music on, and she'll just like fall asleep.
That's why I love Paw Patrol, man. I know a lot of people hate Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is the cheapest babysitter.
Yeah, it
I
really
just
is.
sit her in front of it, and she's enamored, and then I can do whatever I need to do, and I come back, and like she saw an episode today about a ghost, and she won't shut up about it. She's just all like, "It was a ghost." I'm like, "Cool," and she's like, "But it was really Marshall," and I'm like, "Cool." These stories are not very interesting, kid. Like you gotta understand, like I just watched Tiger King. Like you want to hear a fucked up story?
You should tell your 2.5-year-old the story of Joe Exotic.
A year ago, we showed her the movie It. Yeah. This is also a thing I do as a bit, but it's a true. I'm just giving away all my best material, but it's true. She was so the kids are like. Have you seen the new It movies?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Any of them?
Oh yeah.
So the first one,
I love them actually.
I haven't seen the second one yet, but I like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids are walking around, they curse a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point she goes, fuck. She hears fuck and she says fuck. And we're like, oh no, like that's not good. And then later on, there's the scene where Pennywise is crawling out of the wall, the projector scene.
Yep.
And he goes, I'm going to kill you all. And my little girl goes, kill. And I go, what was that, sweetheart? I swear to God, she looks at me and goes, kill daddy. And I was like, fuck. Like, we made a mistake. The gore, the violence, the horror doesn't bug her at all. We could show her, like, I could show her The Exorcist and she wouldn't be phased. She'd be like, look, her head's spinning. Like, she just wouldn't care.
Well, I watch stuff like with my daughter on my lap, but she's only 1.5 years. But she looks at the TV sometimes at really inopportune parts. And I'm like, this has got to be scarring her somehow.
I do wonder. Well, they say that you shouldn't show any screen to anyone under 2.
Yeah,
apparently that's like, I know. And I'm like, who the fuck is doing that?
It's impossible. Because
there's
you know what?
everywhere.
We have like an 8-year-old or 9-year-old. He's 9-year-old, and he is like always watching screens. Like if he's not outside playing, if he's inside, he's either playing a video game or watching TV. Are we supposed to just keep her out of the living room? Like
yeah, no, that's it exactly. And me and my wife are the same way. We're always looking at screens.
Yeah, same. That's the thing too. It's like Mac uses the TV most of the day. As soon as he goes to bed, it's my turn with the TV. Like, so there's not a whole lot of time in this house. And when he's watching TV, I'm watching stuff on my computer. So it's like, especially when we're on like this, and they keep saying too, when you're social isolating, don't limit your children. Like I've seen people like experts, I'm doing that in quotations because I didn't research who these people were, but I've seen people
Right.
saying don't just limit their screen time because you think it's rotting their brains. It's like they have nothing else to do. If they're getting their schoolwork done and they're reading a book and they're drawing a picture occasionally, like let them watch screens right now because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, you can't let them run wild. They can't
Yeah.
go to a friend's house.
Yeah. And like my son is very adverse to reading.
Mhm.
And luckily with him not being in school, we've been letting him stay up an additional half an hour past his bedtime if he
Nice.
spends it reading.
Really?
Which
That's
is the
nice.
deal that he went for, which I didn't think he'd go for because I thought the only reason he wanted to stay up past bedtime was to just more screen time.
Mhm.
But he's been spending a half an hour every single night reading, which is more reading than I've ever seen him do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's still doing his homeschooling during the day on the computer. And like, to be honest, he's probably thriving right now because he has a lot of attention issues and stuff like that. And I know, like, when I'm teaching him one-on-one, he's only listening 3/4 of the time, and I can see when his mind wanders. If he's sitting in a classroom with 20 other kids and the teacher's at the front droning, he's not catching any of it.
Yeah.
So like he's probably learning more now at home with one-on-one lessons than he ever did going to school every day.
I do wonder what the impact of that will be,
Yeah.
like on kids. Like,
Yeah.
will we find some kids are definitely going to be behind, but some kids are going to be more ahead? Like,
Yeah. And like, I have to assume that every kid in the world would do better in one-on-one learning than in a classroom, right? Like,
you would think so. Yeah. Well, that's the argument for homeschooling, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but also the big argument against homeschooling is that they don't see their friends, which is exactly what the big problem is right now. Like,
yeah, they don't get the social interaction. They grow up. Everyone I know who's homeschooled is a little bit weird.
Yeah, same.
Like they're there's something little off.
Yeah.
Just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
They know shit. They're smart.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
A little bit off.
Yeah. But the thing, like, normally I'd be like, I worked and then I went to school, so I wasn't home during the day at all anyway. So if it weren't for all of us being stuck home right now, there'd be no one to homeschool him anyway. But I'm starting to think that it'd be better for him almost just because it's more one-on-one.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that your older one was so young.
Yeah, we're in a real shit show right now.
Yeah, you got like 2 under 3.
2
That's
under
crazy.
3. Yeah,
That's
Irish
crazy.
twins.
Yeah.
Ours
are 8 years apart, so
yeah, you've got one who can take care of himself, and
yeah, exactly. And you know what? One who can take care of his sister when we need a break too, which is
yeah, we're not there. We're my oldest, she was born August 2017, so yeah, she's 2.5, and it's been a struggle for her because she used to go to daycare.
Mm-hmm.
So she would go to daycare, see her friends, and now every Friday she would go to grandma's.
Yeah.
So now she doesn't do any of that, and it's like.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she's come over a couple times, and she would sit on one side of the porch, and Mac would sit on the other side of the porch, and they would just kind of talk across the porch. Like, it's like we got a big front step on ours, so they're like 12 feet away sitting out on the porch. But that's like the only interaction he's had with anyone.
Yeah,
other than the people in the house.
Our parents, we don't have a porch. We have a step. So they come to the door, and the glass door's there, and it's like you can wave and talk a little bit, but don't get too close to the door because I don't know how this disease spreads.
Yeah.
And the real truth is I'm not afraid of my kids getting sick because statistically, apparently, it's not as bad for them.
Like, apparently it's like nothing for kids. Yeah.
But I can't get sick and my wife can't get sick.
That's the same in our house. The risk in our house is me.
Yeah.
Because I'm in renal failure, right? So I'm sick enough as it is with.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, with all my kidney issues and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like reason we got to keep people healthy in our house is mostly me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
you selfish bastard.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, if it weren't for me, those kids would be out playing in the streets with other kids.
Yeah,
bring the corona home. My mother-in-law's boyfriend works in a seniors home, and they've had multiple patients there.
Yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to her visiting, she's very careful because if her boyfriend brings it home, she could get she's very careful because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing too, I think like it's probably crossed so many people's minds too. Like I know it's like maybe I had it already. Maybe I'm one of those people that doesn't have
Symptoms.
Yeah. Like maybe it passed, but it's. And the other thing too is that like everyone keeps saying, well, summer months are going to be here and it's going to go away, but it's like it's hitting parts of the world that are warm. Like
Yeah.
like,
People seem to forget that India is kind of a hot place.
Yeah. Like if they're getting it there, why wouldn't we have it over the summer?
Yeah. That's a silly argument. I find the whole summer argument. It's just the problem
flu bugs die in the summer. This isn't a flu bug.
No, this is a different. They have a different name for a different reason.
Yeah.
I love the theory that it's COVID-19 because that stands for China originated virus.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed the name from coronavirus because it wasn't racist, and they were like, you know what, this needs some racism on it.
It doesn't occur to a single person that COV could mean coronavirus. Like,
no,
it definitely means.
No, it's gotta mean China. Like, think about like the first guy who thought of that. Like, how racist
was
you
it
have
Donald
to be.
Trump?
Could be. Like how racist you have to be looking at it and be like, okay, so the C is clearly China.
Yeah.
The O. Like,
what do they think the ID stands for?
I think it's China originated viral infectious disease.
Oh, okay.
And then it's 19
well,
because
it's probably
the 19th
coronavirus
one.
infection disease.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it's 19 because it was discovered in 2019.
2019. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with they don't number them. It's not like the swine flu was flu 408. Like,
I can't believe we're only at 19 this far into humankind. We're only at the 19th one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the plague was number 1 or 2, right? Or plague was number 2. The first one was that big flood.
So yeah. SARS is COVID-02. Like that's the technical name for that. And so they're like, there are 17 of them we didn't know about between 02 and 19.
Oh, they must have come and gone pretty quickly, those 17.
I almost respect the level of the lengths people will go to be a racist. Like, I don't respect the racism. That's a piece of shit move. But the brain's ability to tie things in together and be like, oh, this has to be a race thing. Like, that's almost impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That your brain can, if only they could do that with like something useful, they'd be great detectives.
Yeah.
Because they're putting things together, they're solving puzzles in their head. It's the same with the flat earthers.
Yeah.
Like, I've always thought, like, the flat earth people, if they believed in Catholicism the way that they believe in the flat earth, like, they could save Catholicism from its decline. Not that I'm pro Catholicism, I'm just saying, like, they could do it. Like, if they believed in finding a cure for cancer, they do it because they do all this research into the fucking flat earth thing. Like, they could do the research into something useful.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
It's totally impressive in the most infuriating way.
It's just, I find flat earthers infuriating, yet I'm so interested in talking to them.
Mm.
And like, the fact that they deny evidence, and it's the same thing that like Trump followers do, where it's like just denying hard facts because they don't align with your beliefs, is like, it's such a stupid people thing to do.
But I'll be honest, I do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do it.
I do it with, you know what, I do it with styrofoam recycling. Styrofoam, from what I understand, is a gasoline byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
So then how the fuck can you recycle it? If you dip styrofoam in gasoline, it melts.
Oh.
It actually dissolves and melts.
Weird.
So, yeah, you can find videos of people doing it online.
You know what? That explains a lot. I
keep my gasoline in styrofoam.
Yeah, I keep my styrofoam, my gasoline in the same room, and they keep disappearing on me. No, I know it's not gasoline, but I I made Mac's Halloween costume this year.
Go on.
I don't know if you saw pictures at all, but he went as Dr. Octopus.
No, I didn't.
And I am so proud of how well I did on this goddamn costume.
Awesome.
If you want to check my Instagram, you or those listening, hey Drew Hayes, go back to, I want to say around October 31st of last year. It's probably a good place to start. And you'll see videos and pictures of this costume, and I did a great job. I mean, Doc Ock.
Me.
Oh.
He's
lasered me. Ha! I webbed your laser. It doesn't work anymore. Ah! But what we did at the end of the Dr. Octopus arms, we bought those like white styrofoam balls.
Yep.
Yeah. And just kind of stuck them in the end, and then we glued the claws onto those. But we painted them silver. And I was out on the front porch with silver spray paint spraying them. And Allie's like, how's it working? I was like, for some reason, the styrofoam is melting.
Yep.
And it was like losing it. Like, it didn't melt to the point that it was unusable because the paint was, I guess, drying quick enough. But like, they got significantly shrunk when I sprayed them with spray paint.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that means styrofoam can't be recyclable. Now, I could Google recycling styrofoam and watch probably a 5-minute video explaining to kids how styrofoam is recyclable, but I just refuse to believe it. I refuse to do any research on it. I'm like, it makes no sense to me. Therefore, it's bullshit. When the city says recycled or styrofoam, they're just throwing it out in my head. But
what I will say for mine is, people can show me hard facts as to why a disaster movie is bad. Like, they can go, this is not how weather patterns work. This is not how fault lines work.
Like how it's not realistic?
Yeah, and I will continue to go, no, this is a good movie.
Well, that's understandable. Like, I'm on your side for that. Like, I love disaster movies.
It might be my favorite genre, which is so sad because there's not a single good one amongst them. And
Towering
I love
Inferno.
them all. Okay, you know what? That's probably the only good one.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, like, arguably good by a filmmaker, from a filmmaker standpoint, from a critic standpoint, probably the only good one. But like, I love them. I love the Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, that one's terrible.
It is. I love all the ones with The Rock in them. Like, I love. Like,
I haven't seen the one. What's the one where it's a skyscraper?
I think that's the name of it. I think you just said it. I think it's called Skyscraper. It might be. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
I know it's got a scene where I saw this scene where he's hanging from a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
And then he like flips and grabs the leg. I was like, I gotta rent this movie.
He's got one leg in the movie, which is not something I realized for a long part of the movie. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to know already when he took it off. I was like, what the fuck? Did they show that earlier and I missed it?
Maybe they didn't. Maybe that's the point of the movie, is anyone could be missing a leg.
That's one of those movies exactly like this, where it's like people arguing facts. There's a scene where he jumps from one building to the other one, and people did the physics and were like, he would miss. And like, I still go, no, that was awesome. The Rock jumped across a building.
John McClane using a fire hose.
Yeah.
To scale down Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah, I know it wouldn't work. It doesn't matter. It's still fucking badass.
Yeah, I know.
Does it. Like, oh, for sure. For sure.
I watched, I want to say it was the fourth Die Hard, the one that had Justin Long in it.
That is the fourth one. Live Free and Die Hard.
Yeah. Allie and I watched that a couple nights ago. I had never seen it. She had seen it many, many times. And I loved it.
I like it. It does require some suspending your disbelief. Like, computers can make gasoline lines explode somehow. But I'm like, the computers control a lighter. Obviously. It's like, that's easily explained.
Well, obviously, if they have the gas system set up to the computer, there's probably a explode button.
Yeah.
Like an explode command.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just in case we need this at some point.
But when he launches, like, when he launches the police car at the helicopter, if you don't think that's awesome, there's something wrong with you. Like, it's such a fun moment.
My favorite thing about that movie is I said it to Allie, I was like, this movie came out during those 18 months where the internet was obsessed with parkour. Because one of the villains is like a parkour guy.
Yes.
And like during those 18 months, every action movie had a parkour guy. Like
Casino Royale.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Like they're all like, let's just get a guy that like can run up walls and jump from fire escape to fire escape.
My only problem with Live Free and Die Hard is because it's a PG movie, he doesn't say yippee-ki-yay.
Same. That's what I said too. I was like, it's weird that there's no swearing when the other three movies like the most quotable lines.
Like the sign in the third movie.
Yeah.
Like you can't put that in a PG. Although I love the edit for TV where it says "I hate everybody."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? People getting so offended by that.
I love TV edits too. Sometimes, like, it's almost funnier to watch it. Like I remember I was listening to the commentary because like I went through a phase in my life where I listened to commentaries on all my favorite movies.
Same.
I listened to the commentary on the movie Hot Rod.
Okay.
And it was the three guys from Lonely Island, and they were talking about how many scenes they shot with an edited for TV line in it. And that movie wasn't even that bad, but it had some shits in it and stuff like that. And all I want is to see this movie on TBS. And it's like, it's not a movie that they're airing on TV because it's a type of comedy that most people aren't.
Yeah.
It's not for the general audiences. But like, one of the things, they said every line that had the word shit, they reshot where they said shirt. And I just want to watch that movie on TV and see them say shirt over and over again.
I think the most famous one is Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah, the
go find a stranger in the Alps.
Yeah.
So this is what happens when you find a stranger.
When you find a stranger in the Alps, yeah. I think we've been talking for over an hour at this point.
Oh geez,
which is not what we planned, but
Nope.
I'm glad that I said as long as we got conversation going, we could keep going. But at this point, it's like we probably could keep going, but I don't want to bore the listeners. No one's going to want to listen to that long.
No.
But thank you for being my first guest.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me, man.
This works and everything. I've never used this program for recording before, but it's got a recording function built right into it. So
it says it's recording on my end. So
does it?
Yeah, it's in the corner.
Sure about that.
Just saying recording, and there's a flashing light. That way, like if I showed you my boobs, it would be like, "Hey, Drew's got those boobs."
Yeah, I suppose that's why. That's what I think. This is like a professional meeting with that. Like,
yeah. So if you're in a professional meeting, say you're opening a strip club, and you need to like
audition girls.
You're auditioning girls. It's Corona time. You can't do it in person. There's no casting couch. So the girls know. Hey.
No. Well, thank you for joining me in the Temple of Zoom.
Thanks, man.
I'll talk to you later, Mitch.
Talk to you later, Drew.